When we're live, just tell me so I can come on.
Yes, we are live now.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Okay. Good day, everyone. I welcome you to today's program. And sincerely, it is always a pleasure coming your way. It is always a pleasure coming your way and also a delight. Today, we are going to be engaging Mr. Tobi on a very, very crucial subject matter. And I know you all know what we are talking about today. We've shared the flyer before now. Research source shows that certain behavioral addictions, such as internet addiction, involve neural processes similar to substance addiction, and that internet pornography addiction is comparable. And it may start during a period you feel bored, lonely, anxious, depressed, like other behavioral addictions. It can happen to anyone. We need to discover, we need to know that. So that is why we are engaging in this conversation to help ourselves, get things right. And I'm sure my guest today is going to do justice to the subject matter that he's going to be talking about. With the unbridled influence of pornography objects via big screen and internet, I cannot but agree with the iconic Southern Baptist Church pastor, Charles Stanley, who says pornography has become the word photography. With me today, again, Mr. Tobi is the author of Quit Porn and Masturbation. And we have decided to title this particular, program Book Talk. So he is coming here to tell us about the content of the book. And even though you are still going to, our viewers, even you are still going to buy the book, hearing from the author, perhaps when you start reading the book and you do not understand some lines, this conversation is going to help your understanding better. And, as usual, he is going to drop his contacts so you can, communicate with him in case, you encounter a particular thing that sounds ambiguous to you. So he's going to unravel everything even after now because, he's writing based on experience of the book is based on his experience. And that is why I have decided to bring him up to shed more light on this habit that is plaguing our society so seriously. You know, the children of 6, 7, 8, they already know what we are talking about. You can't even hide anything about sex from them. They know, they even know, let me exaggerate a bit, more than their parents. That could be an exaggeration. But you know, it is a menace. It is really something that we need to talk about. In Africa, we always shy away from this kind of conversation. We don't want to talk about it, and you know, and we are being disturbed by the influence or by the spread of this, you know, that we'll be talking about today. I welcome you, my dear friend. Please feel welcomed today. And dear viewers, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. When you subscribe, the beauty is that immediately we come up online, you are going to receive an alert from your end. So you will know that, okay, they've released the video, we've released the video. So we are working more on the consistency. You all know what it is, but we are not going to allow Nigeria factor to affect us anyway. My friend, the floor belongs to you now.
Good evening, Mr. Polimi. Thank you for having me. I feel so great. So, quit porn and masturbation. So, about 3 years ago, when I was, yes, this is 2021. Yes, 3 years ago, when I was addicted to pornography and masturbation, I put on my TV and a lady came on. So it was a television program, and she said something. She said, avoid getting addicted to certain habits because it is very difficult to quit them. That's what she said. That's the line she used. I remember when I listened to that line, I felt it's just saying it's impossible to quit pornography and masturbation because back then I was badly addicted. Sorry for this, my headset. It just keeps falling. Because back then I was addicted to pornography and masturbation. So so when she said that, I was really confused. I felt doomed. I felt, what do I do? So many years down the line, after I've researched and done all the whole thing, and I've gone on to quit, what she said was correct. You can't actually quit a habit, but like outrightly, we can quit a habit by replacing it with one habit over another. That's the science. So you cannot just quit. Some people try to quit cold turkey. So you just think you can just stop smoking or stop watching porn. That's not how it works. You have to replace the habit with one habit. But then you can't just replace the habit with anything because there's a science behind every habit. Right? But let me first tell you why you can't just quit an habit. Right? Why it's impossible to quit a habit. And that is because we humans are habitual creatures. Our brain loves habits. Our brain loves habits. So for instance, right now, anybody that's watching this show right now, they're using several parts of their brain. They're using their ICC, they're using their mind they're using their brain to comprehend what we are seeing at the same time. The fact that you can do that without thinking is because our brain loves forming habits quickly. Our brain is something called a cognitive miser. That means it's always trying to do things really fast so you can save us of stress, which is why you can drive and not be in that like you can be present, you can be thinking of several things and be driving. That's because your brain has mastered that habit. So your brain loves habits, so it's impossible. And it's anybody that tell you can quit a habit outrightly, like you just stop. That's how it works. You have to replace an habit. So, like I said, you can't just replace any habit. It turns out that all habits are not automatic as they seem. It turns out that habits all follow a certain process. This process is called the habit loop. Let me say that again, the habit loop. So the habit loop is a neurological loop that governs every habit, whether that's smoking, procrastination, going late to work daily, and not feeling bad. All as a result of the habit loop. So the habit loop comprises of three elements. I want you to, if you are writing, make sure you're writing. If you are not writing, make sure you are so into this. So the habit loop comprises of three elements: the trigger, the behavior, and the reward. That is three elements. So every single habit must go through that. For instance, if you start watching porn, you have when you start watching porn, you have gone through that habit loop at the same time.
Absolutely.
Right? So the trigger is what causes you to feel like watching porn. That feeling to let me just get to my phone and just start watching this thing is caused by the trigger. Then the behavior is what most people call the habit itself. The behavior is not the habit is just the habit is the entire habit loop. What you call the habit is just the behavior, an element of the habit loop. Then there's the reward, that is what you get after you're done engaging in the habit. This reward can be inherent or external. It can be internal or external. And what's funny is that it can be different for every single person. That means your trigger can be different from mine. Your reward can be different from mine, right? So to quit, what you need is just two elements, the trigger and the reward. The behavior is not our problem. Like I said, what you're addicted to is the reward. You're not addicted to the behavior. You're addicted to the reward the behavior gives you. The reward the behavior gives you is what you are addicted to. So to quit, you have to first find out the trigger. It's bothering me. You have to first find out the trigger. You have to first find out the trigger. And there are several ways to do that, but I'll leave that to the end of this video, right? So which is why I always tell people that I figure out a formula for quitting. And formula is simply understand the trigger, understand your triggers, what causes you to feel like watching porn, or what causes you to feel like smoking, or what causes you to feel like taking alcohol. Get your triggers clear. Then also know the reward your habit gives you, right? Many times, we as human beings, we humans, we lack, when you're addicted to something, for instance, you lack meaning. So your brain is trying to get in your life generally, when you're addicted to, for instance, smoking. If you're the type that smokes like badly, maybe not casual smoking, but like addictive smoking, whereby you cannot go a day without smoking 4 times. It's because your life lack meaning in a certain way, right? These are foundational reasons why you get addicted in the first place. Like if your life is really full and your life possesses so much meaning, and this is a very, very sensitive topic, so don't feel so like, in case you feel like I'm not attacking you, I'm trying to be very, very clear.
Absolutely.
Right? Don't feel attacked in any way. Anybody that is watching this, don't feel attacked in any way, right? So like, because these are the processes, right? So when these are the foundational reason, the reason you are addicted in the first place, because your life lack meaning in a certain way, maybe because you're not doing well in certain areas, or maybe you suffer from trauma. A particular man called Gabor Mate, he defined addiction. He said addiction is, because people always feel like addiction is if you just take drugs, you get addicted immediately. He said no. Addiction is as a result of a trauma you went through as a child. When you find anybody addicted to any habit, whether it's pornography or masturbation, when you look at their foundation, if you look at yourself, you're addicted to that. If you look at yourself right now, you understand that you went through certain things in life. So pornography and masturbation, or any habit at all, was just a means to cope. Just you needed that to cope. Like I used to tell people my own story. Right, growing up, I struggled to get into university, and because of that reason, my life wasn't great. Right, and I felt really sad because my siblings were doing really well. My sister, the first year, my sister wrote JAMB. Right, I wrote JAMB with her. At the time she was graduating, 5 years after, I was still writing JAMB. My younger brother, the same thing. So I was really in a very, very bad state, very bad state of mind. So if you are addicted to any habit whatsoever, you are most likely addicted because you need a way to cope. These are foundational things. Like if you get my book, for instance, before I even talk about the formula, the trigger, or anything, I first talk about the first thing first. This first thing first is to understand that you can quit one, and you got addicted because you wanted to cope. But the mindset you should now get into right now to quit is that this habit that you're addicted to, this pornography or masturbation, doesn't serve you anymore. You need to get that clear. That is why in my book, I listed something called visiting your default self. I mean, visiting your future, which is you have to come up with how you will be or what you'll be like if you are still addicted to masturbation or pornography in the next 5 to 10 years. What will your future look like? The goal is to make you see that this habit you're addicted to may have served you in the past, but it doesn't serve you anymore, and it's actually detrimental to your health. Research has it that pornography addiction has the same effect as drugs addiction on the brain. Because when I get to pornography, when you see a lady, or masturbation, when you see a lady, you're always thinking about having sex with her, right? You fantasize sex. You can be walking, but you're imagining sex in your head. So these are very, very bad things. Like, some people just feel like masturbation or pornography is a behavior. No, it's a behavior deficiency. No, it's not that. It's deeper than that. And actually, it reduces your chances of falling in love. Like, you get to pornography and masturbation, you are numbed down to fall in love. You do not seek that external connection. You do not want to be friends with so many people. These are part of the line consequences of pornography and addiction. And when I tell people this, the goal, when I tell people this in my book, the goal is to make you see, because that's very important. You must first see that this habit doesn't serve you anymore. This habit is actually detrimental to your health, because it's only then that you want to quit. If you don't feel like something is bad, you don't want to quit it. Some people just feel like they use no. So you must first understand that this habit doesn't serve you anymore. This habit doesn't work for you anymore. So when I got that clear, you then go into the process of quitting. Now understand your triggers, then your rewards, then use what you get to create a new behavior that gives you a similar reward. It may not be the same thing, but a similar reward as to what your previous habit gives you. I don't know if anybody's getting that, but let me say that again. The way to quit any habit is to first understand what causes you to feel like smoking in the first place, right? What causes you to want to feel like watching porn and using smoking? I don't want to generalize it in this. We're talking about porn addiction and masturbation addiction. So the way to quit is to first understand your triggers. What causes you to feel like watching porn? What causes you to feel like masturbating? When you get that clear, you have the information. You then understand your reward, right? What you get after you finish, you are done watching porn, after you're done masturbating. And like I said, this can be internal and external. I really feel like when I tell you how to get the triggers and reward, I've released all the myths. But I'll do that anyway, because the goal is to give you impact. The goal is to make this very useful to you, because I've released all the myths of the book. So basically,
please keep some vital parts to yourself, I beg you, so we can get the book.
All right, I get that. But I'll tell you how to find the trigger and how to find the reward.
All right.
The way to find the trigger is to first sit yourself down in a silent room. Get a sheet of paper and ask yourself 4 questions. When do you feel like watching porn?
Now, how many questions?
4.
4. Okay, just tell us 2 out of the 4.
Okay. When do you feel like watching porn? Where are you usually at when you feel like watching porn? So you get those 2 questions down. Fantastic. Then the reward. You ask yourself, when I finish watching porn or masturbating, what happens thereafter? Many times it is difficult to get these things by just asking yourself questions. Many times you may actually want to engage your habits so you can figure these things out. But now you're engaging your habits to understand the science behind it. Because like I used to say, right, to quit your habit, you have to make yourself the research lab, the research elements. You have to do research on yourself, like, because you have to go into the foundation of the structure of the habit internally, right? And it's very straightforward. Once you can figure out the triggers, once you understand when you usually feel like watching porn, the time, what's usually happening around you. Maybe it's when you're surrounded with people, maybe when you're alone. Like me back then, I watch porn when I'm alone, right? So you get that clear, right? Then you understand the reward, how to find the reward. You ask yourself, what is like when I feel a need engaging my habits, how do I feel? How do I feel? What goes on? Like, how do I feel? Do I feel less stressed? Do I feel happy? Do I feel fulfilled? Some people, when they finish watching porn, they feel in control. They feel like they have aced it. So when you get that clear, you can then use that both information to define a behavior, to create a behavior. Like I said, there are several processes, and when you get my book is when you can actually get through to, you can actually go deep into this. So when you can use both information to define and create a new behavior, a new go-to action. So this is how it's going to be now when you have created the behavior, when you feel like watching porn, because you understand what can make you to watch porn, which is why you must find triggers first. Because you understand what can make you to watch porn, when you feel like watching porn, You don't watch porn. Instead, you do the new behavior you have created. And that's it.
A replacement, right?
Yes, a replacement. That's how it works. You cannot quit outrightly, because some people can quit outrightly, but it's more difficult. The simpler way to quit is to replace it. So you have like a replacement. So you do something instead of that thing. And it's easier because now, like I said, it's easier. It's not like you understand that this is going to happen, because you understand that this is the time I used to watch porn. So you are prepared. You understand that this is going to happen. So when you have that information, you do not get, because when you are already in that high state, it's really difficult to do anything, because it's such as that your brain, the prefrontal cortex in your brain shuts down. Immediately you are in that high state. So because you already know what's going to get to the high state, you are prepared beforehand. And that is when you can now replace your behavior. You can now engage in the new behavior you have created. And what is beautiful is that simply doing this every day for 11 days and you are good, it becomes easier. The longer you do it, the easier it becomes. And that's it. But there's another thing that's really important to actually create permanently. And that is something called the lies being whispered to our brain. So like I said before, your brain doesn't want
say that again. Say that again. I didn't get it.
The lies being whispered. The lies being whispered.
Okay.
Yes, being whispered. Like I said before, your brain doesn't want you to quit pornography and masturbation. It loves the way you're addicted to it. It doesn't want to quit. So when you start doing these things, your brain will come up with several lies. And this works for every habit. Your brain will come up with several lies. And literally, no jokes, just understanding this lies formula, this lies part of this thing can help you quit. No jokes. Just understanding that your brain doesn't want you to quit, and to come up with several things. It's to tell you, watch porn because porn is not harmless. To tell you, why are you even bothering? You don't have this, you don't have this. Just watch. It's to tell you so many things. But you understand that it's you, because you understand mindset, that you have mindset that your brain doesn't want you to quit. It doesn't want you to quit. So you are answering it from that mindset of, I'm bigger than you. I know what is going on.
Right. That's the part.
I know what is going on. I know what is going on. You don't want me to quit. So you're going to tell me all these lies. But that is not my focus. Then also, like I described in my book, you then fight your brain with logic, because our brain is really smart, right? It's really smart. You cannot fight your brain emotionally. You have to fight with logic as well, or else it will defeat you. So when you have those lies, if your brain tells you a certain lie, you jot it down. You have a lie. You know it. You understand that this is a lie my brain is always telling me. Then you don't do your research and certify it to yourself that it is truly a lie. That way, you become the bigger person. So the formula is straightforward. Figure out your triggers, figure out your rewards, then use what you get to create a behavior. So when you have done that, you then use your lie, you then use the mindset of, I'm bigger than you. You understand what's going on, and you're good. Even though this sounds a little bit straightforward, but I'm leaving out several details. Details
yes,
you only need to get in my book, trust me. and that is because because I'm a better writer than I speak. I write better than I speak, because I'm able to collect my thoughts, right? Because I'm able to write things very, very. So this phrase is actually simpler, and I go into more details when you get the book, basically. And the book is really short and practical, and it's easy to read, trust me. That's it.
Okay. Would you like to tell us the price of the book, or how we get the book?
Okay, let me tell you how to get the book, right? So when you get the book, you just go to badhabitformula.com. Then click on the currency. If you're watching this in America, you can pay in dollars. When you go to badhabitformula.com, you'll see the option to pay in dollars, or you'll see the entire details about the book. Just go to badhabitformula.com.
Okay.
I wish there was someone. I wish the way this was structured was that you could bring someone else that is maybe addicted. She then could ask questions, so we could actually get more. But that is still it.
Okay.
Did you get me?
I didn't get that,
because
you thought I would.
I said I did not thought. I said I believe this would have been much, much more better and more effective for your audience if we had someone that's actually addicted. They can actually ask you questions, and I can actually help them on the spot. You understand? But then I believe once people can have what the science is basic. The habit loop consists of 3 elements: the trigger, the behavior, and the reward. Once you can figure out the triggers and figure out the reward. You can use both information to create a new behavior. And I show you exactly how to do that. In my book, I show you how to find the triggers. I make it super easy for you to find the triggers, to understand your triggers, what causes you to feel like watching porn. And in my book, I also make it so easy for you to find out your reward. Because the reward is what you're addicted to. You're not addicted to the habit itself. You're addicted to the reward. So what you should just do is to replace your habit. And let me be very careful when I'm saying this, because some people may feel like when I say replace your pornography or masturbation habit, I'm saying you should get a girlfriend or you should get a wife. No, because technically people masturbate several times a day, and no woman will allow you to have sex with her 10 times a day. So you must get that clear. So a girlfriend, a wife is not a perfect replacement. It is not. Or sex workers, they are not perfect replacement for your habit. I show you a very simple way. I give you examples. I use my own case studies. I think one of the reasons why my book is beautiful is that, and it's so effective, I use my own examples to help you. So I will show, in my book, I go into more details of habits you can use to actually replace your pornography and masturbation habits. So let me just I wanted to make that clear, because some people may think, get a girlfriend and you're good. No, a girlfriend is not a perfect substitute. It's not. Because what I get, it's not. Even a wife is not. Because people are married and they still masturbate and they still watch porn.
Absolutely.
So you must use a more refined behavior that is positive, obviously, that is positive, but gives you a similar reward. It may not be the exact same thing. That's why you understanding your reward is really important. You understanding what your habit gives you is really important. So when you can get that clear, when you understand what your habit gives you, you are able to easily come up with habits. You are able to easily come up with behaviors that can give you a similar reward as to what your habit gives you. You get
awesome. Now, if I'm taking anything from what you've said, this, as simple as it is, I think is a winning strategy, that you are superior to your brain. That if your brain is telling you this is what you must do, in fact, if you don't do it now, you are going to die.
Yes.
The point that I feel people to live with today is, you are smarter. Yes, your brain seems to be smarter than you, but in actual sense, it is your brain. It is your tool. These are my eyes. I can choose to close these eyes. So even the eyes want to be opened, I can still close it. Even my brain is telling me, open your eyes. I can still decide to close it. So even my brain is telling me.
Yeah, but what I want to say is that that mindset is really beautiful. But it's really beautiful. But when we are in that I state, like I used to say, when you're in that I state, it's difficult to be logical. It's very difficult to be logical. It's really difficult, which is why understanding the things that cause you to feel that way beforehand is really powerful. Because when you're in that I state, when you're in that mindset of Jesus, I want to watch porn, it's really difficult to say no. It's always difficult when you can prepare beforehand, which is why getting the triggers, right? The lies being whispered is after you have all these things clear. After you have all this, like you have the structure, you understand the science behind your addiction. That is when you can now be the bigger person. I just wanted to make that clear. So because some people used to feel like you can fight habits with willpower or with self-control. No, you can't do that. You must understand what's going on. Then you prepare beforehand. Because when you're in that state, it's really difficult to be logical. It's difficult to be a sane person. Yeah.
I get you. Now, it has been a debatable matter between or within the science community or medical profession, whether masturbation or pornography habits is an addiction.
Negative, yes.
Is an addiction or not? Some are saying at the moment it has not been agreed upon whether it's an addiction or not. So because
masturbation and pornography is actually, they are not necessarily. Pornography is a worse habit than masturbation, actually. Pornography, because you're watching pornography knobs the idea of you getting aroused. Pornography can lead to sexual dysfunction. That means we have people in this world right now that they cannot be aroused by women. They cannot be aroused by men. They can only be aroused by pictures. which is dangerous. Do you understand? So pornography is a much stronger and badder habit than not bad, nothing like badder.
Yeah,
The
you just
worst
answered the
habit.
question. Okay.
Yes. So pornography, masturbation is not necessarily bad. It is the addiction that is bad. Do you understand? It is okay to have sex with yourself, but even though it's not recommended, it's best to have sex with people because that way you build more connection and you have more, like you connect more with people, which is beautiful, which helps prolong our existence as human creature. So basically, it's not, but it's not actually wrong. The addiction of it, like you masturbating 10 times a day, is what is dangerous because you are stressed, you don't have anything to focus on, you are literally a robot because several people masturbate several times a day. The addiction of masturbation is what is dangerous. The addiction is what is dangerous. That's
Absolutely.
it. So yeah.
Now is it because if we ratify or we certify the habits that okay, you can do it once in a while. Doing it once in a while, don't you think that is what is going to eventually lead to becoming an addiction?
Yes. So the mindset is this. Mindset is why I said that before, and this so people don't, so we don't fight the science community. But technically, if you quit, you are supposed to quit for life. You're not supposed to, if you are addicted to it, you're not supposed to see masturbation as something you should be doing once in a while, because that way you come back to it. So you must actually quit permanently if you are addicted to it. Do you understand? If you know you do it 10 times a day, do not say you have quit, then you now be doing it one, you will come back. It's dangerous, which is why the mindset of like what you said now, right? Some people, it's part of the lies being whispered because some people can actually be told these things and people can tell you masturbation is not bad for you, but because you're addicted to it, it's actually bad for you. So you must quit. If you are addicted to it, you must quit. And addiction is when you can't. What is addiction? Addiction basically means when you can't go a week without something. If you can't go a week without something, and if you stop a particular behavior today, and by today is Friday, and by Monday your brain is already bothering you, you should do this thing, you should do this thing. That's the addiction. But when you can go 3 months without your brain bothering you, you should do this thing, you should do this thing. Some people are addicted to sex, for instance. They can't do without having sex every day, right? So addiction is when you are in that, when you cannot control yourself, when you must do it. If you must do a certain behavior, if you must, anytime a behavior becomes a must, then you're addicted. Do you understand? So if you're addicted to masturbation, don't try to say when you quit, you now say you want to do it once in a day. That's dangerous. And that was the process I took first, because some people tell you to quit gradually. You should not aim to do that. You should aim to quit outrightly, because when you quit gradually, it's more difficult. Do you understand? It's more difficult. The only habit that is recommended to quit gradually is alcohol addiction. And that's because quitting alcohol immediately has a negative effect on your brain. And alcohol addiction is the worst type of addiction in the world. People see smoking as more dangerous than alcohol, but alcohol is actually more dangerous to the brain than smoking, right? And it's actually more difficult to quit than every other habit out there. So the only habit that is recommended to quit gradually is alcohol addiction. But pornography and masturbation addiction, you should quit them outrightly and forget about them. Because when you say you're going to do it, you say, I'm going to do it on Sunday, it's going to be dangerous. You are just putting yourself, and the more you lapse, the more difficult it is to quit. But what's beautiful is that my book shows you all these things. It breaks everything down. So you actually get results. That's just what I can tell you. You get results. And that mindset, because the major key thing in anything in life is mindset. Once mindset is straight, which is why before I even talk about the strategies is the formula, that is the figure, those things. I first fix your mindset. I first make you understand that one, it is possible to quit, and one, you can quit. And also your brain doesn't want you to quit. Those are mindset foundation. Before we then go into strategies, which is figure out the trigger, the behavior, then the reward. Because that is what can actually help you quit. Those three things are what can actually help you quit. Because now you're fighting your brain, because you're fighting the habit with understanding, with total awareness of what is going on.
Yeah.
So when you're trying to quit, do not quit the mindset of I would. So when you're trying to quit, do not quit the mindset of I want to quit. I'm only going to watch porn on Sunday, after Sundays, every Sunday. So don't do that. That's dangerous. Because I know when I wanted to quit, I did that, but that didn't. I used to relapse. right? Until I figured out that that is a very dangerous route to take. Do not do, okay, Wednesdays, Mondays. No, don't do that. Quit outrightly. Then, but what is beautiful about this is that you don't need to masturbate once, you don't need this your habit, your old habit, once you can replace it. So it's much easier, which is why I used to tell people that this formula is a much better and simpler method to quit than trying to quit, than trying to like tell yourself, okay, now I'm addicted to smoking. So now I feel like watching porn. Okay, I won't watch porn. I won't watch porn. I won't. That is the more dangerous means. The best way is to, okay, now I feel like watching porn. Okay, do this immediately and get the same reward. That's the better way than, okay, I won't watch porn. That's the more dangerous way. So the beautiful thing about this formula and this process that has been helping so many people around the world. My book, I'm advertising my book on Facebook and everywhere really. And my book in the last 2 weeks has sold more than 300 copies. And I get beautiful emails from people, right? So this formula helps you to actually defeat that mindset, that process of you quitting gradually, because now you are armed with a very, very beautiful system.
Fantastic. Now, let me ask you this question. But before asking that question, viewers, kindly try to get that book. If you are a parent, get the book.
Yes.
For
my parents actually got the book yesterday for our son, and she told me, she said, I just got my son.
And dear viewers, please don't just get for your sons, get for your daughters too. Because it's not, this is not a male thing. Female too indulge in the heart. So
you're correct.
Please get the book and get it for people as a gift. Now, quickly, this question: is masturbation or pornography first, then masturbation? Because when you expose yourself to those images, virtual images, then you want to bring it home into yourself, and then it results into masturbation. And then the question is masturbation a spiritual deficiency or psychological? Don't let me use deficiency. A spiritual thing or psychological thing?
Psychological thing, not a spiritual thing. Okay. Psychological thing. When you get to a habit, your brain changes. That's what most people don't know. When you get to a habit, your brain changes because you are more ruled with this. There's something called, as humans, there are certain things that are built into our brain to fight impulse behaviors, right? So that is why you would see fire and not touch it, right? That is why something want to attack you, you are calm, like you do not do things impulsively. But when you are addicted to a habit, for instance, like masturbation or pornography, your brain changes. So it's not a spiritual thing anyway. And technically, trust me, even when I say that, people fight me on my comments. I'm always very alert and very, 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 very ready for this comment. But people fight me. Pastors, come. You should, because it's prayer. They quote Bible passages. Prayer is beautiful. It's beautiful. But like everything, for instance, you cannot pray to be rich. You can pray to be rich, obviously, but like you have to do things. Right? So prayer is not a strategy in its own. It's like a complement. It's like a complementary process. So you can pray to quit, but that is not all you should do. Apply the strategies, apply this formula, this process, then you quit, then you pray, then you complement it. You understand? That's how I recommend prayer. It should be like a complement, not like an outright strategy. You understand? So it is not a spiritual thing. You are not, no power is bothering you when you are addicted to.
Yeah, absolutely. I just need you to clarify that.
I know, I get that. I'm saying that too because I know people feel like that too.
Yes. And yeah, that is profound. Now, looking into the camera, parent, please, it is not a spiritual thing. If you catch your son masturbating or you discover your daughter is masturbating, don't take her to your pastor. In fact, if care is not taken, if you do not, well, I don't know, a whole lot is going on because there could be more destructive moves after taking that child to your pastor.
Yeah,
this is more scientific. People that have gone through it. Why I trust your book is because you are, I will tell you something. just in 2 instances have I seen people coming out to say, this is it, I used to masturbate. 2 instances. Once, or the first one was several years ago, when this should be, almost 15 years ago, in a religious gathering, and that pastor threatening them and, said many things that if you do this, come out, let me pray for you. Then I saw people coming out. Okay, now what we didn't do is, did we follow up with those guys if they do it after? No. So we can't trust that formula that much. Now, the second instance is you coming out to tell the world that, say, I used to do this and I have overcome it, overpower it. And the formula that I used, they are well described in my book. So go and read my book and you will find a way out of this. So, and, if we can do more, because it's an habit that we must create a major platform for this, because several people are going through this. And one dangerous thing about pornography and masturbation is it damages the brain.
Yes.
In a way.
Yes, that's the problem.
You start seeing.
And the major thing is you don't even see connection. You don't want to build connection.
How does, maybe I should ask you that, that how does pornography and masturbation damage the brain?
The major thing that I've noticed is that when you are addicted really badly, right, every single lady becomes a sex object, right? Every single guy becomes a sex object. You want to have sex with them, right? Because you are fantasizing. Pornography means you are, and pornography comes from, which is why pornography is a very, very interesting habit. It comes from a mindset of lack of confidence. When you are addicted to pornography, you are less likely to be confident in yourself, because you see a girl, right, you are attracted to, obviously. You would not ask her out. You will go home, sit down, fantasize having sex with her, masturbate, and you feel good. Meanwhile, the better process is to get that girl number, build a connection with her, and start a good relationship with her that you can prolong. You understand? So it reduces your ability to fall in love, to connect with people. You see friendship less than most people. Yes, because your brain, that part of your brain is numbed now, because your brain is getting that eye of connection from this habit. So it's actually very, very dangerous, right? Especially to the brain. Trust me, it is. It is not in any way harmless. It's a very, very harmful habit to your brain psychologically, because especially when you are badly addicted, it's really, really dangerous. Because I've had people who tell me that, I've had people confide in me. They tell me that, Tobi, I cannot have sex when I'm having sex with my partner. I cannot last more than 1 minute, but masturbating, I last several minutes, right? And that is because of several times that they've done it. So their brain has figured out that their brain feels like this is the way to get this feeling, right, from masturbating not only. And that is not the way we humans are built. They're supposed to get that connection from humans. Do you understand? So many times when people are getting masturbation or pornography, it's always from a self-confidence. It always alters their self-confidence. It's very difficult to find a person that is addicted to masturbation or pornography and they'll feel so good about life. It's really difficult. And it's really difficult. Because they are going through things. It's really difficult. They are going through things. So this is a means to cope. Right? And the problem with the way this thing works is this. So you use this habit to cope, then you go back. So it becomes like a cycle. You are not coming out of it. You are just repeating the cycle. So it's always best to just quit it and just have it done for. Then go the way humans are built. Forget watching porn. You don't need it. It's just in your mind. Right? Those sex scenes are not real. They are acted. Like they are not real. So go and embrace, build connection with people. Do you understand? So that is another means. So, but many times I'm always very careful to just tell people this advice, because just telling people that, just like telling a smoker, just stop smoking. It doesn't work. They can't stop smoking. It doesn't work. You can't just say stop watching porn, stop masturbating. No, there's a science that you can use to stop. Yeah. Unless you use that science, you won't stop. It is not easy as saying stop doing this. You won't quit that way. You have to follow through a science process. So that's it.
Fantastic. Now, let's quickly issue first a disclaimer. We are not encouraging, careless sexual, interactions or intercourse all around, especially premarital sex. That's so we are not talking about that. What we are talking about is porn and masturbation, how to quit it. So how to quit them rather. The quitting formula for pornography and masturbation. Sincerely speaking, you said it's right when you said even married people. That is the truth. Both married man, married lady. So it's a human problem. It's not just children's problem. So, and that is why we should, even you don't have a need for the book, I'm telling you, get the book, put it in your e-library, just save it somewhere. The time is going to come and you will see the book as a masterpiece, and you just fetch it from wherever it is and you read it. And the
beautiful thing is that after you use it to quit other habits like procrastination, all those things, because all habits follow the same process. Yes, all habits follow the same process. Some people are get to procrastination. Yes, some people they are unable to do anything, right? And procrastination affects their way of life. So you can actually use it to, because I'm giving you 2 books when you get a book, even though that's insider information. I'm giving you 2 books. I'm giving you the Quit Porn and Masturbation book. I'm also giving you my second book. That is the Ultimate Habit Quitting Formula.
Oh, for free.
Very, yes, for free.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you for this. Now, the second point I was about making is this, that those that are engrossed, permit the word, addicted, let's just use the word addicted to pornography, they are very imaginative.
Yes.
They can be. So if you are doing that now, I need you to listen to me. You are one of the best inventors on earth. You can use that brain to transcend your immediate environment and fetch great stuff. Those that are doing it, I'm just talking to the world now. They are great writers because they can use their imagination to achieve what is not physically real, what is not physically present. They can use their imagination to they can be a very fantastic. Yes, they can be a very fantastic frictional writers, fantastic novel writers. So when you see your children, you just discover that your children or your child is engaging in such habits, don't shout, hey, no. You need to approach it with love and understanding. Don't push your children so hard that they feel, oh, no. In fact, create the kind of, my book addressed that, and it's not about my book today. Create that kind of environment that your children can walk up to you anytime and tell you whatever they feel like telling you. Can you just imagine your child walking up to you and say, Daddy, I am really battling with masturbation. Will you not look at that child and say, is something wrong with you? No, that is not going to solve anything.
You have the mind to even tell me.
Yes, you even have the it is easier for me to display it or dramatize it in the Yoruba way.
I know, I can relate. I can relate.
So see, that is not the fathers all over the world. That is not going to solve anything. It's even going to make it worse. Get Mr. Tobi's book, and you will thank him later. And you will thank me too, for bringing him up on this platform to talk about that book. That book is not only going to solve your children's problem, it's going to solve your children's friends' problem. And those friends too will recommend the book for others. Let's make this book a great success, not because we just want to appreciate, Mr. Tobi. You said it during our last program, last Tuesday. You said, no, people don't like Dangote. You don't like Dangote, but we don't have choice. We must get one of his products.
Spaghetti. Yeah.
You just have to. So in that same way, you don't need to even like Mr. Tobi. Perhaps you are expecting people that will come up to discuss this kind of program to be in their suit and tie. Forget that. Oh, I don't like the way he dresses. Forget that. You don't even need to like us. Don't like us at all. Just get this principle. Get our advice. The more you shout at your children, the more destructive result you are going to get. Stop shouting at them. Seek professional advice. Get someone like Mr. Tobi to talk to you, because this is one of his area of strength, apart from his IT and other sites. This is one of his area of strength. Get him. Even after getting the book, if you still need him to talk to your children, get him. Our children deserves a better environment. Now, one beautiful thing again is that you don't even need to say, okay, I want to go to all of these pornography sites. Just sit before any TV station. You will see him. Just be going on the street. You will see it on a billboard. Just be going. You know, a friend came from Ogun State to Lagos to visit me some times ago. He's now based in Lagos. And when he got to Ikeja, I was working at Ikeja then. So when he got to Computer Village, he said, wow, Lagos. He saw babes, he saw girls, and felt, wow, what is this? So those images, they are effective enough to cause a man or a lady to just lock herself up in a toilet and quickly do it. So
which is why some people will tell you, when you listen to some people, sorry to break you, when you listen to some people, they'll tell you to try to ignore your triggers. Some people say, so you understand your trigger, ignore it. That doesn't work, because pornography and masturbation, they are so around you that you cannot escape them. So you have to use a bigger process, a better process. So ignoring your triggers, just saying, oh my God, I'm not going to look at them, because some people, the way they are turned on is when they see very, very sexy ladies. Maybe they go to beach, they see ladies on bikini, or they see guys. Some girls are turned on by those things. Some guys are turned on by those things. So a very, very wrong way to quit is to try to just, okay, I won't look at this girl again, I won't look at this boy again. No, that is now to quit. So you can continue. That's what I wanted to communicate.
You know, one of the, as a matter of fact, let's make the matter worse. Let's just destroy the table. Some of the benefits of masturbation, because if we don't say it here, these children or these people, they are very, very smart. So we go online and see it, you know, and enjoy it. I will read some of the benefits. Relief built up stress, and that is true. Sleep better, boost your mood. You know, you just, you know, when you are done doing it, you are high, you feel, okay, I've achieved what I needed to achieve.
Feel good.
And you are out, you know, smart. And that is why you said the masturbation itself is not dangerous.
What you're addicted to is the reward.
It is when you are addicted to it. Now, but you now later said, you took the, you know, discussion forward and said, no, don't even now say, okay, you want to practice it, you know, intermittently, you know, not, you know, you will do it on so, okay, I used to do it every day, but okay, start drawing a timetable for it. No. Another fact is it helps people relax, you know, it relieves cramps, release sexual tension, you know. In fact, here they said it helps people have better sex. And that is why, you know, people get, you know, some sex toy before married folks, before they, you know, do the main thing. Both of them play around the sex toy before they do the main thing, you know. These are some of the benefits. But one disadvantage for me is enough. It destroys the brain. It makes you see ladies as sex tool. And, you know.
Don't want to build connection with them. You know, they're trying, the best way to build relationship is you connect, I meet you, I connect with you, we build a very good relationship. Then maybe we can have sex with, but it's like a byproduct. It's not the major thing. But when you're addicted to pornography and masturbation, what you're thinking about is, I want to have sex. I want to have sex. I want to practice that thing I just watched yesterday. Let me apply it to real life. That's what you're thinking about, which is why it's dangerous to be addicted to it.
In fact, they said some research suggests that regular ejaculation may lower the risk of prostate cancer. So doctors are not exactly sure why. Now, this sounds like a plus, but really, with all my guests have said today, I need you to know that it is not a thing that you feel that you should settle for. One thing is, if you are a very spiritual conscious, after doing it, there is a kind of distance that you feel that you can't. For example, after doing it, and somebody said, just call you and say, oh, let's use the name Michael. Oh, Michael, how are you? I'm going through something. Please pray for me. The first thing you remember is, oh, I just did this. Pray. Did this, pray. Well, even those things shouldn't affect your spiritual consciousness, but it does affect the spiritual connectivity. So that is the spiritual side. I am not against this everybody in the world. I am not for, going to hell or going to heaven. Those ones are so inconsequential. It damages the brain, and you are very, very superior than those triggers. Be smarter than the triggers. And then to be smarter, really, quit porn and masturbation. You will thank Mr. Tobi later. Mr. Tobi, thank you very much for making it a date with me today. And then I will stay calm for more because I know you have more to give. So
thank you very much.
Quitting porn, quitting bad habits. In fact, if people read that book, actually, I know the book majorly addresses porn and masturbation, majorly based on what we see at the back. But the formulas in the book will help people solve many other problems.
Yes.
Yeah, many other bad habits. So thank you for writing that book. Thank you for being a change agent. You may or may not believe it, but the truth is that you are doing so much to bring the beauty that the life has to give naturally. You are revealing it, you are unveiling it. Now, if that book helps 10 people, and those 10 people recommend the book to another 10 people, that's habit that has actually destroyed many marriages. That, for example, you married a virgin and you are already addicted to masturbation, and somehow you feel when you are done having sexual, intercourse with your wife, you just are not satisfied. Yes, that is the truth.
That is an addiction. Yes.
Yes, you won't be satisfied. Now, why must you take yourself through that route? There is always that strength in us to stop any habits. There is that strength. We have a brain. That brain is my property. The brain shouldn't use me. I should use my brain. So we can't thank you enough. Let's allow you to have your, final gist with us as we, call it a day.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Polemi. So basically, it's important that you understand one of the reasons why, if you want to quit, you must be totally straightforward to yourself. You must make sure you are aware of negatives of pornography and masturbation, which is why the first thing I talk about when you open my book, I first talk about the first thing first, which is the mindset, right? That mindset to quit. Your brain loves negative to habit, right? So you have to be smarter than it by first fighting that mindset of this habit serves me. You must make sure you understand that this habit doesn't serve you again. This habit doesn't serve you again. Doesn't serve you again. It may have served you in the past, but now at this stage you are in, you want to quit. It doesn't serve you anymore. Then that way you are in a better position to quit by applying this formula. And I really believe you can quit. And if there are questions, once you get my book, the way to get my book is badhabitformula.com. You should be able to get it from that link. And my number, when you get the book, I send you my email address. So you're able to contact me for anything, any question or anything. I'm always available. I answer my emails faster than most people because it's linked to. So you can always contact me, and I would respond definitely. I'm always willing to help as much people as possible. So feel free, and thank you very much, Mr. Colin, for having me. I'm really grateful. It's so beautiful. I really appreciate the interview and everything. Thank you very much, and you have a great time ahead.
You're welcome. Thank you. Now,
Bye.
if you want to change your life, change your thinking. And that is what this book is helping us to achieve. This book is going to take us through the journey of proper thinking, how you can apply right thoughts. So right substitutes. Please get that book. I can't say that enough. So thank you. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. It will serve you. And please recommend we have good content, though not this entertainment content, people jumping up. There is time for that, and we should enjoy ourselves. But yet we should engage in programs that help us think, and that is what we are on. A mentor once told me, God bless his soul, Mr. Taiwo Ajobo. He said, to think is to create, and to learn how to think is to learn how to create. When you change your thinking, it will change your life. I will leave you with that. Thank you again, my friend. And God bless you.
Yeah, bye.
Bye for now.